Dear friends, welcome to the Mindful Maya podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to understanding the phenomenon of the mind and be free from its conditions. The series features various talk shows given by the mystic Maya around the world in what he calls the conversation from the silence to the silence.
Dear friends and dear meditators, in our previous sessions we talked about shadow work, character analysis, and how we can understand the shadows behind each character that we have. And before today's meditation, let's look at how we can use the shadow work for self-discovery and personal growth. The crucial part of shadow work is examining and accepting the unconscious parts of ourselves that we frequently ignore or suppress. And this is a very powerful tool for self-recovery and personal growth. The shadow is what Carl Jung called these hidden aspects, which can include both good and bad qualities that we either ignore or reject. Our upbringing and the cultural influences that we are exposed to frequently, they mold our shadow, which can significantly affect our thoughts, our feelings, and our behaviors, which can develop our self-awareness, emotional potentiality, and authenticity by accepting and integrating the shadow with love. You can identify the shadow in a number of ways, such as by observing your daily actions and reactions, self-doubt, low self-esteem, negative self-talk, hesitancy, hatred, unhealthy behaviors, feelings of shame, guilt, and as well as unconsciously held prejudices and biases. These are all the examples of different ways that the shadow can appear. And the shadow can negatively affect our lives, but there are many advantages to facing and integrating it with love. Let's take it like, if we see the darkness in us, it is no longer dark. The moment we see it, it starts turning into light. And this means acknowledging the darkness in us. The moment we acknowledge the darkness, we see that it is starting to become more visible, and as it is more visible, it's turning itself into light. It's the same energy, it's just transforming into light. We can use approaches like journaling, meditation, therapy, and dream interpretation. Well, the dream analysis or interpretation reveals the unconscious material that is deeply buried in our minds. And these materials can be thoughts, moments, different events, different experiences, narratives, different things that we have hidden deeply in our minds. And the therapy offers a supportive and non-judgmental environment in which we can examine and process our unconscious thoughts and feelings. And non-judgmental is the key here, because when we are meditating and when we are looking into ourselves, we have to kind of look at it in a non-judgmental way, that we're not judging ourselves, just like a therapist would do, that they would not judge to our stories, and they would just analyze them and help us better understand ourselves. And this is what we are doing when we are meditating. We're looking into our own patterns, our own behaviors, our own actions, reactions, and all these things, and basically not judging ourselves, and we're just looking at it as a building block of what we are in our psyche, in our inner being. And journaling allows us to explore and express our emotions in a more private and safe settings. And combining meditation helps us understand deeply, again, who we are and how are we made up of, each one of us individually, and hence realizing our position in this world and here and now, where we're all seated for meditation. By recognizing the shadow and examining how it's working, its patterns, we can become more authentic as we learn to accept them, and as we learn to know that we are them. This makes us more powerful. This makes us more strong and emotionally balanced, and more, it gives us a sense of awareness of ourselves, self-awareness. We can also break bad habits and improve our communication and interpersonal skills. And it is important to approach the shadow work with compassion, like I said, without judgment, with complete love that we have. Just like we are holding a small baby, and it's full of love. It's full of a sense of connectedness. It's magic to look at a small baby, to understand how the world is continuing, how the whole creation is in continuation because of a small baby. And this gives us the sense of a deeper love towards the existence, towards the universe itself. So the shadow work should look something like this, that we are watching ourselves with the same feeling that we are holding a small baby, and we're full of love towards this small baby. The shadow is this part of us that usually we avoid or repress, and it can be difficult and uncomfortable to deal with, just like sometimes with children, that they wake us up in the night, that they drain our energy, but nevertheless we feel the love there, and that love is what continues and helps us and guides us to take care and provide more love to the baby. And it's the same thing again. And that's why it's very important to remember that all of us have our own shadow. And shadows are very essential and integral part, and a very normal part of being a human. And we have to learn to confront these shadows, again, with love. And this involves identifying and accepting it, and examining the underlying emotions and assumptions that is driving the shadow. It can also involve working on the accepting, healing, and letting go of the traumatic or painful experiences that may be tied to our actions and behaviors. And you know how some traumatic experiences stop us to do something new or start something new, or to meet some new people. It's something in us is holding us back. And these are all the works of shadow. So remember, the acceptance and letting go happens together side by side. Because as we accept all the things that we are made with, the letting go happens simultaneously. So we don't have to do anything. We just accept that we are, what we are made up of. A total acceptance of what we are inside and out. And this is what we have discussed before as Sahasra Sahaj Swikar, or acceptance of the existence with ease. So looking into our shadows, understanding them, identifying them, and then basically saying to it that I am you, I am made of you, you are an integral part of me, and I accept you. Another way to work with the shadow is to use creative expressions like writing, drawing, or painting to find out more about our hidden thoughts and feelings and to express them, basically channeling the suppressed emotions into something creative. If there is a painful past or a relationship trauma or anything of that sort, writing songs, poetry, and bringing it out into paintings, all of these actually really help. It's a way out, it's a catharsis. Because the more repressed emotions we have, the more traumas we have, the more difficult the life becomes. And catharsis is a way that releases these traumas, these what we call in Nepal, it's kuntha. It's like, it's somehow like a bowl of negative energies that has come together and become really hard. And it gives us hardship, it gives us hard time to live our life. So it is very helpful if we can find a creative releasing or creative expression to them. This can be an effective way to preview the shadow and understand and make it easier to blend in with the shadow, accepting it, and blend in with life. Awareness and self-reflection are also important tools, and practicing mindfulness and meditation helps us become more aware of our thoughts and our feelings, our actions, our behavior, and it helps us to reflect on our experiences, which can ultimately help us better understand our shadows. By recognizing and working with these hidden aspects that we have, we can become more self-aware. So you say it's happening side by side. The more we realize our shadows, the more we become self-aware, more we become authentic, more we become emotionally intelligent, the more we are aware of our own being. And we can also overcome bad habits that we have or something we want to improve in our life. And it just happens side by side. Now, it is very important to be patient with ourselves because it is a process that takes time and effort. And it's not something, that happens overnight. And for some people or many people, it may be quite challenging at times. However, patience and the benefit are well worth the effort. So now before today's meditation, I would like you to take 21 slow and deep breath in through the nose and slow breath out with the mouth. And with each breath, try to remember your patterns in your life, how you behave, how you act, how you react to different things, to the world. And try to see your shadows. And with each breath in, look into your shadows, recognize them. And it's very easy to recognize the shadows wherever you feel there is difficulty in life, in your emotional balance. There are shadows. Wherever you feel there is something stopping you in doing, in expressing yourself, there are shadows. So with each breath in, look into your shadows, and slowly, as you fill your lungs with the air, keep looking into your shadows, and as you slowly release the air through the mouth, tell yourself, remind yourself to tell to your shadows that I accept you, I integrate you, and I release you. I accept you, I integrate you, and I release you. And after 21 breaths, let the body and mind be on its own and remain in the silence and in the meditation. If there is anything disturbing you, your thoughts or the sounds from inside or outside of the room, they're all part of this grand process. Let them be, and you'll soon realize that the sound is actually helping you to go more deeper and deeper into your meditation. So let's begin with each breath in. We are looking into our own shadows. And with each breath out, we tell to our shadows, I accept you, integrate you, and I release you.
Dear friends, we want to publish these life-changing conversations as a book, and for that we need your help. Please leave your thoughts on our Facebook page, Maya Satsang, and also share this podcast with your friends. Every thought is valuable and every share counts.